to become like this thing where no one knows what to do with it. Like we've set something in motion that we have no control over. We have no control over as the people of the country, and the politicians who are meant to be running or governing the country for our wishes.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. So what?
We're blinded. We're being blinded in every corner.
How can no one know what's going on?
And how can we feel okay in that moment to speak? And,
that's what I mean.
And it's fearful, because at that time, every word that comes out of your mouth, you want to address it in a normal way, but you can't.
Or it's even things like the Windrush scandal, where all these documents are just going missing. What? How was this? What? You're the people running the country, and you're losing documents and things, and you're just saying, "Oh, I don't know, I don't remember."
You have like an entire library when we walk into like places like Westminster and stuff, full of your memorandums and your conversations and everything that's been delegated, and now you're saying passages are missing.
Yeah,
like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense,
and it just makes you think, what is going on? Like, what have we been allowing to go on all this time?
This does bring us to something which I feel like we're living in this phase in life right now, where United States is in a state of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And this in state of anxiety, I feel when things like this come out to us as a rush, we can get to see everything, but the one thing we need to address is that this year as a whole, and the last couple of years, we've seen a lot.
Yeah, we have.
And the exposure of all of these things has almost drawn a very fine line between where people can think their power can allow them to stand and get away with it to some measure.
Mm-hmm.
And then knowing that the country doesn't fall for it, and then at the same time pretending like tomorrow we'll carry on the next day. That capitalist mentality within that 1%, and also like the power hierarchy, needs to disappear.
Yeah.
And it has disappeared, because those thin margins, going back into the Downton Abbey days, when even they knew they had to downscale on their house and like their labour force, because they had to move out and do their own middle class things and social working class things. You need to understand that the scale of your power is not just eroding, but like everyone can see it around now. And if it's spread that much, then all you're trying to do is you're trying to maintain it. And when you try to maintain it, then you can only do it through a sense of suppression of someone's voice, and then oppression of something that needs to be addressed. So suppression in the sense, Virginia Roberts' voice, by him saying the way he denied a lot of the things, the categorical terms. And then on the other side is the actual concept of young women being exploited by men of a very specific privilege in terms of how this topic's unfolded.
Yeah.
And that is, it's to a point where we're like, it's not a blind eye, but it's just that it will never be in front of our face, because how much of that could ever possibly be in media? Because the day it is in media, it would be a lifetime scandal.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of impact a country like ours can actually bring on a topic like this. And that concerns me. That does concern me. Next time he speaks, Kory is going to be under oath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will have to be. But the UK, no one from Scotland Yard will be investigating him. It will be someone in America that will be investigating him.
For real?
Yeah, because that's what it said in the Panorama documentary. It said that Scotland Yard's standpoint after when Virginia went to them and told them about how, told them about the claims of sexual trafficking and everything like that. They felt that they weren't going to look into it because it was a matter being dealt with by America. So they felt like it wasn't for them to step in and investigate Prince Andrew, even though the claims were brought on about Prince Andrew.
And they're from home. They're home claims.
They weren't home claims. They were from Virginia.
Oh, from Virginia down.
Roberts.
Yeah, but the matter at hand is still
related to Prince Andrew. Who is from England.
He's the second son. So
and the Scotland Yard felt that it's not their place to step in and make an investigation. And since the inquisition has gone on, Scotland Yard still stand at that point, saying they don't feel like they need to investigate.
Yeah, with not much said, yeah, but of course they're going to say that, aren't they? Like, you've got to wash your hands off these things. And...
yeah.
It's a shame that in a situation like this, where evidence is there in some form of like a lot, but testimonies are very few.
Yeah.
And that to law that's where I think justice gets questioned a lot, because okay, you have all these claims, you have all these testimonies, but there's only a very few people like involved, no one else. And the one person involved, are we saying that Prince Andrew was a direct link, or was he just someone that was there at times and places? Because he's saying in those times and places he wasn't aware of any of these things, and then in another you can't add that up.
It's just it was a documentary. It was an interview that kind of didn't go anywhere.
It did not go anywhere.
Like, I didn't find out anything more than I already know, other than the fact that I feel like he is even more guilty in my eyes than he was before he did that interview. It
was frustration.
Yeah.
It was absolute frustration.
Like, you could even see it in the interviewer when she asked certain questions and when she got certain certain answers, and you could see it in her face where she was like, "What?"
For real, like you could literally just see in her eyes, like, are you for real?
Are you for real? But she can't say that to the prince. But like, in her head, I'm sure she was just like,
of course.
Is this?
That'd be a meme moment, isn't it?
Is this? Like, do you know, like, those career breaking interviews that you do? Like, that could have been that might be one. Like,
that was the make or break one, innit? Yeah.
And that was the end of his career now, you know.
Let's put a statement on that. It is the end of his career.
Although he now is no longer a prince, he's stepped down. That means that he no longer gets like the annual the income for just being a prince, but he keeps all his businesses that he has set up himself.
But do you know how vague he was about that in the interview?
But he only actually spoke about things that he was doing in partnership with him being Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
So anything that he was doing in partnership with him being Prince Andrew, he won't be doing that anymore. Yeah. So the things that he spoke about was to do with that, because he was speaking about, I guess, kids young adults, but like
some courses or like things they were running everywhere.
But in the UK, we're only doing it for young adults. But
I promise he spoke so vaguely.
But across the world, they're doing it for everyone, and I was just like. Well, and I was like, well,
and it was a young group of people he mentioned.
Yeah, he mentioned a young group, but then he was saying it was from.
I think he said from 11-year-old to, I could be wrong with the date, but I think he said the 11-year-old to, and then he went on, and this is all going live the way when he said all these things.
Personally, if I was him, and you get to the end of the interview, and someone's asking you about you and what you do, this is the point where you tell the audience. Although, like, if you really want to paint that image of yourself, then you have to paint it properly, and you actually go out with a bang by saying, I'm doing this work, and be exact with what you're doing, because all it seems like to me is like, you don't even know what you're doing. Like, you don't know what you're doing with these companies or what in these partnerships. Like, you're not aware, because like you might go to a place but not really be present, because you don't actually notice everything that's going on. So how can I really trust you to be in charge of these projects how can I know
when you don't know what's going on?
He knows what's going on sometimes, but then other times he can't really be sure if it's actually true. But then there's other times where he's 100% categorically sure that he wasn't there. But
he wasn't there. Yeah.
There's other times where he can't, but he's categorically sure that he wasn't there, but he he's not sure whether he knows her or not. But what? Either you were there or you wasn't there. Like if you know you wasn't there, then you don't know her. Because if she's saying that you were there with her, then you've just...
Yeah. Were you there or were you not there? I don't even know if you know. That's
what I mean. You can't say that you categorically know that you wasn't there or you didn't do this, but then you can't say whether you definitely know this person or not. Or you might have crossed paths with her, but you're not sure.
You're not sure, yeah.
But you know you definitely wasn't in that place. Which is it?
At one point, would you remember when everything came down to, well, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Then I must not remember. Then I must not remember. And that statement of I must not remember, if we really carefully look at that statement, what does that mean? You were there in the way the interviewer went around, the lady went around. Every time she came back to at different positionings of the interview and his answers changed. Yeah, which is so unreliable. He was there, then he wasn't there. He was there, then he wasn't there. I forgot my point, but... I actually forgot my point. Damn it! This is what I do. And he's... By the end of the interview, I must say... It's... I don't know what to say, man. He's a prince, isn't he?
He was, yeah.
I would just like to not see... I would just not like to see one of those hideous trials that take place in the way American court handlings have taken place, where he speaks the way he does under oath, because at that point, if that goes live, the judges are also there listening to what he's saying, and he has to respond to some of these things, and these answers are going to be, I suppose, it's a make or break for him, isn't it now?
Yeah.
Like, you either continue to stick to the statement you gave on the news, or you actually give a statement which has credibility for you and what actually happened at heart.
Yeah. But
to all these women.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that all the neighbours in the area can say that they 100% knew what was going on.
On a daily basis, they knew.
Multiple girls leaving and coming and going from the place. But I don't know. Let's just...
He doesn't remember, Kory.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In his statements, he doesn't remember. I don't remember. In one various claims, he doesn't remember having a foot massage from a Romanian girl. A Russian girl, sorry. And he doesn't remember.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And you're present, but you can't remember. And then within the same situation scenario, he said, oh, it's like a railway of stations of people that are leaving and coming from Epstein's. So...
And then you're saying it like, because you live in the royal palace, and it's you're used to lots of people coming and going. You thought they were all just like the staff. Yeah, and amongst them you can see girls of a group of 8 to 12 girls walking in and out, being taken in and out in front of you, and at no point you question it and ask anyone, or even ask your friend. Yeah, like what's going on? What's happening? Like, I don't know. Like, even that's the thing. He says he's a curious person and he likes to find out what's going on, but then you didn't know what's going. Like, but then that's it. That was very conflicting. And that's what I mean. Like, you can't paint a picture of yourself, but then it's only you. But then when it comes down to it, like, you only half agree with some of the things that you've painted out about yourself. No one else has told you. No one else has. The interviewer didn't say it for you. You said everything. You painted out what you were, and then the questions came down to you, like, oh, well, no, it's not. And then, like, places where he was like, hang on, when was this? When was this? And then he's like, oh no, it was definitely before that. And of course it was. There's so many examples, guys, that are given here, like, in the entire his interviews in specific, but a lot's been touched on a legal standpoint. And as the article has portrayed, we have been the jury in this podcast episode, we have. Unfortunately, but it's just because we're discussing the facts and what we have right here in front of us, and Yeah, let's draw it to the end.